if you're going to have an honest conversation about the WNBA and marketing and shoe deals and TV contracts and revenue and all that, like, you got to have an honest conversation or don't have it at all.
I'm going straight to the top. Just put the stack on the clock. I am Ray Allen's a shot. I'm going straight to the top.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Mike here, Sports and the Real Podcast. Appreciate y'all joining me once again. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff with your family and friends. I truly appreciate it. Helping me grow this thing. It's good to see, man. I hope you guys are enjoying, what I'm talking about. If not, let me know. If you have a different take, let me know. But seriously, I appreciate you guys, and I say that often, and I really mean it. Because I know how valuable you guys' times are, and I don't take that for granted. All right, anyway, let's jump into it. So it's the NBA playoffs, 2023-24 NBA playoffs are here. Before I get into that, though, it's going to be some really good action, really good matchups. Before I get into that, though, I did want to touch on a couple things that were swirling around in the news, social media, regular media, that I wanted to touch on this podcast. First, OJ passed away a few days ago, and I don't like to talk about dead people, man. Whether good or bad, I really don't like to talk about dead people, but I want to touch on a couple of things as it relates to the OJ situation, in that OJ Simpson, as I started watching football, was one of the first people I can remember as a sideline reporter. He was pretty good at his job, I would say, on NBC doing NFL sideline reporting. But then he gets in trouble, goes to jail, commits a murder, or I guess he gets off or whatever, right? And I'll say this. People are saying, OJ's innocent now that he's passed away. And some people are still saying, black folks primarily are saying he's innocent. White folks are saying, he's guilty as hell. He did it. Of course, there's still the racial tensions there. And I'm going to say this. The racial tensions that are there now are nothing compared to the racial tensions that were present 94, right? 94, 95. When OJ did what they said he did or whatever, right? However you don't phrase it. It was crazy to see how split it was, and white folks could not understand how black people could celebrate OJ getting off. But what they don't remember is Rodney King getting his ass beat on TV and the 4 cops getting off. And I'm going to say this till I can't anymore, till I'm blue in the face, or black folks going to get blue, but you know what I mean. OJ does not get off if Rodney King doesn't get his behind beat on TV, on camera, and the cops, nothing happens to them. And it wasn't just Rodney King. It was a series of events where black folks were violated and nothing happened to the perpetrators. So yeah, black folks was going to celebrate when OJ got off. Until this day, while some black folks, a lot of black folks believe that OJ did it in their heart of hearts, there are some black folks who hold on to the belief that he was framed. And there's a plausible argument to be made in that the lead investigator, Mark Furman, made a lot of mess with the evidence, to say the least. So it's plausible to say the man was framed and he went to jail. But now after he passed, there's people coming out with articles and stories saying, hey, he took the charge for his son who actually did the murder. And then there's other people saying that it was a serial killer in the area who killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. That story, the truth is probably never going to be known. All we know is that OJ went free. But then he went to jail for, assault or whatever it was, right? And his life swirled out of control because of that. And maybe it's just me, right? For the people saying, well, it's his son who did it for whatever reason, I'm not taking that charge. I'm not risking going to prison for my son, for none of my kids. Not like that. If you did it, bro, you did it. I love all my kids. I'm not going to jail like that for any of them. Not for a story that I'm taking the charge for. Now, if somebody's trying to harm my kids and I have to harm somebody back and I end up in jail, that's different. But I'm not taking the charge. I'm not covering that kind of stuff, those kind of allegations, and risk going to jail for my kids. But anyway, that's a different story. I don't know how true that is or not, but that's stuff that was swirling I saw on social media. I was like, I had never heard that angle until he passed away a couple days ago. But the crazy thing about OJ is that OJ famously didn't want to be black and he didn't want to be associated with the black community. I'm not black. I'm OJ. That's something the man actually said. I'm not black. I am OJ. And Jay-Z incorporated into his song the story of OJ. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. And that's a great song, by the way, because it talks about how no matter what you achieve as a black person, you're still black. You're still going to be seen as black. So OJ is being seen as a black criminal after his death. So CNN and Fox News and all these places are running, nonstop coverage and discussions and panels about OJ's life. And they're all, he's an animal. He's black. He's OJ. He's a killer. Talking about how bad he is after he's dead. Like they're bashing that story to death. Like they're literally beating a dead horse. But it's okay. It's OJ, a black man. So I don't know what happened to OJ. All I know is after you die, there's a lot of things that can be said about you, that are going to be said about you. And for whatever reason, no matter how bad you are, or maybe, people try to make you look good after you pass. You're nobody till somebody kills you, as Biggie says. You're nobody till somebody kills you. He passed away. Cancer got him. It's just one of those things where you're torn as somebody, who wants to be fair and honest. I'm torn because my gut tells me OJ did it, but some of the stuff that happened in the trial, it wasn't fair, and prosecution tried too hard, made it too obvious. And they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar manipulating stuff. But what I didn't know was that OJ was like the first black man to be featured as like the lead on a national ad, like a national ad campaign with Hertz. And they talked about that in the 30 for 30 OJ. Like OJ was the first black man to be featured as the lead in a national advertising campaign. And the reason is, the more you read into this, the reason is because OJ, again, was not black. He didn't portray himself as black. So although there were other great players at the time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jim Brown, like these guys, they were standing up for black folks. They were speaking against things that were happening to black folks. So these major corporations didn't want nothing to do with them. They weren't going to feature them in no ads. OJ was willing to not say nothing, so he was the docile black guy. So OJ was the first lead of a national ad campaign for a major corporation, the first black guy to do that. And I bring that up because this week there's been a lot of chatter about the WNBA and their salaries and people comparing the WNBA rookies. The WNBA draft was this week, and people talking about the contracts of the WNBA rookies, comparing that to, other NBA rookies, Wnba, and what they're making. They're making millions and millions of dollars versus these rookies in the WNBA can't even crack six figures. And everybody has their opinion, and then it turns into, Caitlin Clark getting a shoe deal with Nike, and how come Nike can't give a signature shoe to, Asia Wilson and other WNBA stars and this and that. And to me, it feels like everyone is circling around the topic of conversation without jumping in. Like if you're going to have an honest conversation about something, if you're going to have an honest conversation about the WNBA and marketing and shoe deals and TV contracts and revenue and all that, like, you got to have an honest conversation or don't have it at all. Don't skirt around the point, around the crux of the matter, just, to get engagement clicks. Say, oh, why does Asia Wilson not have a shoe deal, but Caitlin Clark does? It's just because she's white. And as I said last week, no, it's not because just she's white. Caitlin Clark is a straight baller. She's doing things that the other girls don't do, the other ladies don't do. Like Asia Wilson is great, amazing, but she plays in the post. Post players don't typically sell shoes, even the men. They have a hard time selling big men shoes. Wings and guards sell shoes, even in the NBA game. So Caitlin Clark has that advantage. She's a point guard or she's a guard. And people talk about, well, Sabrina, Oniascu, however you pronounce her name, I apologize, Sabrina. And, people are saying, how come, she gets a shoe deal? Well, again, she's a guard, and she shoots threes. And she was a household name in college, shooting a lot of threes around the time when Steph Curry started shooting threes. So it happens like that, right? There are reasons why Asia doesn't have a shoe deal and Caitlin gets a shoe deal. But again, people are scared to have honest conversations. People are scared to have honest conversations when it comes to things like that. But the truth is, it's hard for these brands, I think, to create marketing campaigns around WNBA players. And in my opinion, I don't think these brands know how to market these WNBA players. They don't know how these brands, these corporations, Nike, the WNBA itself, Adidas, they don't know how to market the WNBA players. Because the truth is, if we're being honest, the truth is the WNBA is a women's league, minority, black women, predominantly, minority, and lesbians, predominantly, minority. 3 minorities make up the WNBA population. Women, black, lesbian. You're a minority within a minority within a minority. And the brands do not know how to market that. They may be able to market a woman, a black woman, now that Serena's done her thing, even though they got a lot of pushback from people who hated on Serena. They may know how to market a white woman, right? She's white, majority, but a woman, minority. But trying to market a league that is triple minority, women, black, and lesbian, I don't know if the brands know what to do with that, because they don't know who the target audience is. Who is the target audience? If Nike creates a shoe, right? Who is the target audience? Who's buying it up? At least if they create a shoe for Sabrina, if they create a shoe for Caitlin, at least they'll have white suburban moms buy that shoe for their daughters. But if you create a shoe and the lead is a woman, black, and lesbian, who is buying that shoe? They don't know yet. And I'm not saying no one's going to buy that shoe. I'm saying I don't know if these companies know who's going to buy that shoe. I don't know if they see the market for that shoe to sell. So even though Asia is not, Asia, I don't know what Asia is, so I'm not going to speak to that, right? So even though not everyone in the WNBA is a lesbian, the majority of the league is. So even the league itself, who are they selling the league to? Because it's majority men, as I said last time, it's majority men who are watching the WNBA. Majority straight males. And the truth is, men, hear me out, fellas. The truth is, there's also some sexism in all this. So not only are you dealing with women who are black, who are lesbian, You're dealing with sexist men who, for the most part, are watching this thing, or misogynists, or whatever label you want to put on it. Men, straight males, straight white males, majority of the time, who are trying to consume the basketball game. And you're putting in front of them women who are black, who are lesbians. The truth is, the sexism and the misogyny drives, for the men who are watching, who are interested, they don't want to see all that. Here's what the men want, man. And this is the conclusion I've come to, all right? The men, and I said this a little bit last time, men want to watch women, are okay with watching women basketball. But they want to see the women be athletic, do athletic things. So the men want to watch the women dunk. They want to watch the women run fast. But the problem is the men also want to watch the women be feminine. And they want the women to be easy on the eyes. Tell the truth, fellas. So the sexism and the misogyny and the male gaze has something to do with how the WNBA is consumed by a largely male audience. But nobody wants to talk about that. So the men want the women to have 36-inch verticals while also wearing a 36 C cup. Prada. Tell the truth, fellas. So the women are in like a tough situation. The WNBA is in a tough situation because you're having women aren't as athletic as men. Women, black women, another minority, being consumed by majority white dudes. Let's tell the truth. White dudes who have more of an affinity for the women's soccer, USA women's soccer, than they ever will for the WNBA or the U.S. Olympic team, women's Olympic team, basketball team. So that's your audience who's trying to consume a league of black women lesbians. So ask the brands, who are they marketing to? Who is the target audience? If you create a shoe for Caitlin Clark, at least you know the white moms in suburbia are going to buy it. At least you have that audience. Who is going to buy, like, is there truly a market for an Asia Wilson's shoe? And I don't know if Asia is lesbian or not. I don't think she is, but I don't want to speak on that. That's the trouble that the brands are finding themselves in. Like, it's easy to market Anthony Edwards, man. It's easy to say, yeah, I'm getting Zion. Like, it's easy for Nike and Adidas to say, I'm going to market these guys because there's already a market. We know people are going to buy shoes worn by athletic black NBA players. That's given. Nobody knows who's going to buy a shoe from, a black WNBA player. Like what the market size is at this current moment. So that's the struggle, but nobody wants to talk about it, is that these brands are in a conundrum because the audience who would buy the shoe, for example, is not who's presenting it, is not who's on TV. And these brands face the same issue back in the 70s because, there weren't any black leads in national ad campaigns until OJ came in the picture, but OJ had to say he wasn't black to get that role. So currently, you're going to have to start with the Caitlin Clark, and hopefully it opens the door for other ladies in the WNBA to get shoe deals and for the WNBA to start turning a profit and to start making real money. But people are skirting around that. It's like they don't want to talk about it. Like the consumers of the league, mostly heterosexual males, white males at that, or who you're asking to consume the league, mostly heterosexual males. A lot of men watch the WNBA and women's sports hoping that the women are also attractive. They want the women to be super athletic. They want to see dunks. They want to see fast breaks. They want to see people slap the backboard, right? What they watch the NBA for, they're hoping to see that in women's ball as well. They want to see the women be fast and block shots. Like, they want to see all that. But the men, if they're truly being honest, they're sexist because they also want to see, they want something to gaze at. They want the women to look good. So they want you to jump high and run fast and be proud. They're not going to admit that, but that's the truth. So the WNBA is trying to sell this league of black women lesbians, many of whom are present as lesbian, meaning they present as men, tattoos, dress as men. You're selling them to an audience that when they watch women's sports, they kind of want to see the pretty girl. It's sexist as hell, misogynist, whatever it is. But it's the truth. But nobody's going to talk about it because everybody's scared of getting canceled. Everybody's scared of getting canceled. But it is what it is. The audience who you're selling the WNBA to, who's watching the WNBA, probably isn't going to watch what the WNBA players, isn't going to want what the WNBA players are selling. That's what I assume. But if I'm a brand, just like Hertz did back in the day with OJ, throw them out there, man. Get Asia a shoe deal. If Asia Wilson's shoes are comfortable and they perform, let's say like Kyrie's, like if I'm Nike, since Kyrie's no longer with them, I don't know what, contracts are signed or whatever, what the papers say and who can do what. But if I'm Nike, I'm basically taking all of the technology from Kyrie's shoes and creating a shoe for Asia Wilson. Because Kyrie's shoes are the most comfortable joints in the Nike's lineup ever. And they perform well. Sell them bad boys as Asia Wilsons. I promise you. They're comfortable, light. Yeah. Take all those designs you had prepared for Nike, all that technology, all those designs you had prepared for Kyrie, all the technology you had prepared for Kyrie, repackage them, repurpose them for Asia. I promise you Nike's going to sell. Nah, but seriously though, that's what it is, man. People aren't going to admit it, all right? The audience is different from the consumer base. Because what you would hope is young ladies would buy the WNBA players' shoes, but the young women aren't watching the WNBA like the men are. And here's another thing. Just thought of. The religious aspect. So while black folks support black folks, this stuff requires like a town hall, I promise you. While black folks support black folks, a large majority of black folks are still religious and conservative in that sense. So when you have black young women lesbians who make up the majority of the league, and listen, I'm not making this stuff up. Heck, within the league, there's been struggles of, heterosexual females, battling, essentially being bullied. Skylar Diggins talked about this, being bullied by the lesbian chicks. This stuff is so convoluted, but nobody wants to have that conversation. People want to dance on the outskirts. Just make it black and white. No, it's not just black and white, man. Caitlyn just happens to be great. Caitlyn is great, but also it's difficult to market the majority of the ladies in the WNBA because the WNBA 80+%, whatever it is largely black lesbian women who, frankly, the dudes who consume the product aren't attracted to, unfortunately. That's how they consume it. So selling them a shoe from a WNBA player, they're probably not going to buy it. But the white mom may buy the shoe from Sabrina, may buy the shoe from Caitlin Clark. So while black people want to be all, sensitive and things like that, we forget that a lot of black people are still conservative and religious. And the whole lesbian thing ain't going to jive. But we're not going to talk about that stuff. We're not going to talk about that. That stuff is true. It is what it is, man. So I hope the ladies start getting paid, like I said last time. But yeah, if I'm one of the brands, I'm throwing them out there. I'm creating a marketing campaign around one of these ladies and say, hey, take it or leave it. Asia Wilson's shoe, best player in the game. Take it or leave it. Angel Reese, I think, is a perfect candidate to have a shoe. Take it or leave it. But yeah, man, people don't think about it. It's 3 minorities. Women, black, lesbian. Black, women, lesbian. Black, lesbian, women. However you want to phrase it. However you want to phrase it. A minority within a minority within a minority. So we'll see how it plays out. But please stop with the superfluous BS engagement farming. Oh, this white girl's getting all the stuff. Nah, man. Caitlin Clark deserves a shoe deal. And the reason why the other girls aren't getting the shoe deals is all the stuff that's happening around it that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to face head on. Nobody wants to have the conversation head on as to why. Sports and the real coming at you. That's me. You can't cancel somebody without a platform. What's going to happen is when I do blow up, they're going to pull this back up and say, this is what you said. Anyway. All right, let's talk about the play-in. Are people really excited about the play-in, like the play-in games? I'm over it. The play-in can go away. It was probably good the first couple of years. The play-in is a total waste of time. These are teams they're not gonna make any noise in the playoffs, like the 10 and 11 seed. Like, get them out of here, man. All right? Or not 10 and 11, sorry. The 9 8 seed, the 9 10 seeds, get them out of here. All right? The 7 8 seeds should make the playoffs like they used to. These stats don't even count. And now you're risking injury. So Jimmy Butler, who would have been there for the Miami Heat against the Celtics, is gone because of a stupid play-in game. Zion, who would have been there in the series for the Pelicans, is gone because of a stupid play-in game. It's pointless. We have a situation where people are complaining where the regular season is too long, cut games from the regular season, but you're adding an additional game that doesn't even matter, that doesn't make a difference because the 9-10 seeds aren't going to do anything anyway. They didn't deserve to be there anyway. They don't deserve the playoffs anyway. So why are we having a play-in game to see if the 9-10 teams can make the playoffs? You're adding a game to the regular season. The stats don't matter. None of it matters except that people get hurt, and now it does matter because the Heat don't have Jimmy Butler. And if I had Jimmy Butler on the Miami Heat, if Jimmy Butler was on the Miami Heat, I would have picked them to beat the Celtics in the first round. So the playing stuff is truly pointless. I'm in favor of getting rid of it because if you don't play well enough in the regular season to make the playoffs, why should you get an extra game to prove that you belong? The excitement over it is done. First couple of years, everybody was excited. Nobody's excited no more. We're over at NBA. Adam Silver, if you're listening, play in. Nobody cares anymore. The basketball is bad basketball. We want to watch high-level basketball. We don't want to watch a bunch of teams ready for Cancun playing basketball. Like the Atlanta Hawks are a bad team. Get them off my screen. I don't want to watch the Bulls. My favorite team are a bad team. Get them off the screen. They're done. Get them out of here. So please get rid of the play-in. Because now it's just going to be dudes getting hurt. All right? Get them out of here. What I do want to say is my takeaway from the play-in is that we're at the end of an era, man. We are at the end of an era. Steph Curry in the Warriors dynasty, which I predicted at the beginning of the season. Go back and watch that. But the Warriors dynasty is over. And I'm going to say this, man. It's sad to say. Steph Curry is done winning championships as the number one on his team. All right? Get it through your heads now. Digest it now. Steph Curry is done winning the championship as the number one on his team. And that's okay. It happens to everybody. But it's sad to see because we watch his career, we watch the career arc, but it's physically he's not that guy anymore. You know, you can tell he's getting tired faster. He's not able to do what he once could do. He still sporadically does those things, but he's not able to do them like he used to, like on a regular. He's not regularly Steph like that anymore. He's wearing down. It happens. And the team around him as well has broken down. So Clay goes 0-4 in a do-or-die game. What the hell, Clay? Game 6, Clay goes do-or-die? Game 6, Clay goes 0-4 in a do-or-die game. He's done as a number 2 on his team. Draymond is diminishing returns now. What you once put up with from Draymond and getting ejected, and you can't put up with that anymore because his impact on the game is not like that anymore. So the Warriors are done. And I've been said Wiggins reverted back to Minnesota Wiggins earlier in the year. So the Warriors are done. They're cooked, fried chicken. But Steph is done too, man. It's an end of an era. So I don't know why people are acting surprised about the Warriors. Like, I've been watching them, and I thought they've been done. The question is, can Steve Kerr as a head coach pivot now? Because this Clay and Steph running around and, Steph's gravity, opening up the lane for everybody, that stuff's not going to happen no more. It's not. Not only that, you don't have the great player that Dre once was. Dre was essentially a point guard in a big man's body. When Steph got double teamed, he was wide open, running fast breaks, dishing, kicking it out, throwing alleys. Like, you're not going to have that anymore. So you really can't reconstruct that Warriors team that you had, for the last decade or so. The players you're not going to find that group of players anymore. So the question is, can Steve Kerr pivot into creating a winning team without it being Steph and Clay running around getting open shots or getting open layups for their teammates? And Steph isn't a true PG himself. He's not Luka. He's not going to sit there and run pick and rolls and pick you apart throwing passes. Like, Steph is more likely to get 9 turnovers and 9 assists in a game, to be honest with you. He's not that kind of point guard. He's more of a 2 guard masquerading as a point guard because he's small. But Steph ain't going to be running pick and rolls all day like Luka or an ISO and getting his teammates involved still, making sure everybody is fed, making sure everybody is set up like Luka does while still getting 30 points a game. That is not Steph's game. So if Steph stays there and Steve Kerr stays there, they're going to have to reconfigure the offense because that offense they currently have now with that team, they're not winning anymore. And Steph, as the 1A, is not winning any more championships. So you're going to need to bring somebody in truly to probably take the 1A spot. Because if you bring in a true number 2 guy, he's probably not going to be comfortable in that offense. Just like they tried to bring in Chris Paul. Chris Paul was never truly comfortable to me running that offense. The offense looks different with Chris Paul in there. So the Warriors in a conundrum. It was a great run, man. But it's the end of an era. Just like LeBron's not winning any more chips. It's the end of an era. And honestly, this is KD's last run to me. Last chance at a ring. I don't think if KD doesn't win a ring this year, I think he's done winning rings. He's going to retire with just 2. It's the end of an era for these old guys. And they're all ganging up on the dream team to make one last run at it. I'll talk about that whole thing in another episode. It's the end of an era, man. Steph, great player. It's sad, when we were younger, we watched our favorites, Jordan and these guys, retire. But now as you get older, you're like, man, these guys are getting old like me. And they're retiring. And they're getting old and they can't play like they used to. Their bodies won't let them. Cycle of life. The youngsters are dominating them. Like the Kings just totally dismantled them. And Steph couldn't get away from Keenan Murray at all. Young Steph would have for sure. Old old or young Draymond would have for sure set those picks and done all these things. They would have won that, but it's different. So it's not that Steph can't win anymore. It's not that Steph can't win anymore. It's that as the 1A head of a snake in that style of offense, I think they're done winning. So that was my takeaway from the play-in games. 1, get rid of them. 2, Steph Curry is done winning championships as the lead guy on his team. Sad, but it happens to the best of us. All right, playoff predictions. Let's start with the weaker conference, the East. The Celtics should go straight to the finals. But unfortunately, they're going to mess around. And as I predicted before, man, again, thank you to the stupid play-in games. Thank you to the stupid play-in games. But I'm telling you, if Jimmy Butler had been healthy, the Heat would have took out the damn Celtics. But they're not. So the Celtics-Heat matchup, I think the Celtics are going to win. I still think it goes 6 because the Celtics are going to play with their food. That's what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat go up like 2-1 or something in that series for no damn reason. And the Celtics have to come back. But the Heat are going to struggle on offense without Jimmy. The Celtics defense is legit. But again, I don't trust the Celtics, but they're going to win in 6. There's not much of a storyline there. Without Jimmy, it's kind of a mismatch. What I want to see out of the Celtics is Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White, all these guys just say, okay, bam, we're going to get rid of these guys in 4. I would love to see the Celtics get rid of the Heat in 4. That would give me more confidence in them and their ability to go win a chip. But likely what's going to happen is they're going to play with their food and they're not going to end the series until like game 6. Watch. Unfortunately, that's what they do. But there's not much of a storyline there. It's like, man, okay. I wish Jimmy was playing, though. Cavs Magic is a mid-series battle of the mid. I think this one goes 7. I think Cavs have an advantage, right? So they'll probably win in 6 or 7. I say 7. The Magic are a young, talented team. Really what I'm excited for is, because I've been watching the Magic a lot this year, I'm excited for the world to see Franz Wagner, man. People say Paolo's the best player on that team. Maybe he is, but not by much. For my money, I would take Franz Wagner, bro. I like this guy's game. Like, his game is so all around and so true. He's tough, in your face. Like, he ain't backing down from nobody. Like, Franz Wagner is like that, bro. He really is. If you haven't watched the Magic this year, you got to watch the Magic, man. The Magic Men. And listen, I grew up in Orlando. I wasn't a big Magic fan, but I've kept up with the Magic. And this year's team is like clearly one of the best teams in a long time. But the Magic are up and coming. They need a couple more pieces. Their offense is not there yet. Their shooting is not there yet, but their defense is legit. So they're going to give teams a tough time because they D up and they play hard. But their shooting just ain't there yet. And it's not like the Cavs are great on offense either, but the Cavs have more experience. The Cavs have more experience, so I have them winning in 7. Next up, Bucks, Pacers. This is a 3-6 matchup. I got the Bucks in 6. Giannis is probably not going to play, but I still got the Bucks in 6. I think Dame is going to be more free now to play his style of basketball. Even though they haven't looked great all year, Dame hasn't looked consistent all year. He's had great games where you're like, oh, man, Dame time is back. But Dame hasn't been consistent all year. But he's going to be allowed to play more of his game now, him and Middleton. So we'll see how they ball out without Giannis. Their defense isn't great, but the Pacers' defense is worse. But the Pacers can score a lot, a ton, fast. So this is going to be a high-scoring series right here. This series is going to be like 120 to 115 every game, and I'm here for it. As much as I love defense, this one's going to be high-scoring, some serious shot-making. Tyrese Halliburton is great. His stats fell off, kind of got injured second half of the year, playing through injuries and so on and so forth. Hasn't been the same. But they still score a ton. They get into the paint, they spray it out, they shoot, they take a lot of shots. But I think in the end, the experience of the Bucks will win out in 6 games. Because if it does slow down, then the Bucks absolutely have that advantage. And if Giannis comes back, and I know the Pacers embarrassed them in that in-season tournament, but I think the playoffs are going to be officiated a little bit different, and I see the Bucks prevailing. But it'll be interesting to see can Holly turn his game up. Knicks, Sixers, I'm torn on this one. I got the Sixers in 6, although I'd be surprised if the Knicks take it in 6 or 7. Matter of fact, if it goes 7, the Knicks are winning. All right? If the Knicks-Sixers series goes 7, the Knicks are winning. Because I don't trust the Sixers at all in a do-or-die game. They almost lost to the Heat. They're lucky Jimmy Butler got hurt. But I promise you, if it goes 7, the Knicks are going to win. But I got the Sixers in 6. I'm hoping Joel Embiid can actually dominate that series as the 1, because that frees up Maxey to be the number 2. And Maxey and Jalen Brunson can, kind of cancel each other out, because really the process, Joel Embiid is who nobody has an answer for. The Knicks don't have an answer for the process. So if he comes in and he dominates, then yeah, the Sixers are going to take this series. But if he goes in like he did last year and my knees are hurting, and they're going home. So I don't trust my pick here. I'm telling y'all right now, I don't trust my pick here. I don't trust Joel's health. But I got the Sixers in 6. But I don't trust this pick at all, to be honest with you. All right, that's the East. But good matchups though. It's good matchup. Even matchups, right? Even except for the Boston series, it's pretty even matchups. Let's go to the West. The West, Thunder Pelicans. I got the Thunder in 6. Again, even matchup. Zion is hurt. Thank you, Adam Silver. Only reason I got Thunder in 6 is because they're inexperienced. If they had more experience, they would probably take them out in like 4 or 5. But Brendan Ingram is experienced in the playoffs. The Pels got some. Valanciunas is experienced in the playoffs. They got some guys. CJ is experienced in the playoffs. So the Pels got some experience in the playoffs, whereas the Thunder don't really have playoff experience like that. But I still think they're talented enough. Very, very well coached team. Their defense is legit. Their offense is legit. They share the ball. Shea is unstoppable. So I like my pick of the Thunder to win it in 6. Their only weakness is that they don't have a true interior presence. Like Valanciunas might eat. Valanciunas might give Chet a hard time if Chet is guarding him because he's bigger, stronger. So he might compromise him and get Chet in foul trouble. But even still, I still feel that the Thunder just have a better team. But less experience. And Willie Green is a hell of a coach that nobody talks about. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Pels upset, but I'm going with the Thunder in 6. Clippers, Mavs. I got the Mavs in 6 only because I don't trust the Clippers. I don't trust James Harden. To a lesser extent, I don't trust PG. I don't know if Kawhi is going to be healthy this series. So I don't know. As I said early on in the year, I don't know. I still don't see the Clippers having the chemistry necessary to make a deep run. And right now, Luka Doncic is freaking unstoppable, and Kyrie is also playing out of his mind. The Dallas Mavericks have a legit team. So I see them winning in 6. Now, if Kawhi comes back and he goes back to Toronto, Kawhi, and goes berserk, then I can see it happening. But if you're going to put the series, if the Clippers are going to put their life in the hands of James Harden, forget about it. If the Clippers are going to put their life in the hands of PG, Paul George, forget about it. They're not winning. I trust Luka Doncic in big games more than I trust Paul George, more than I trust James Harden. There is no answer for Luka right now, and as a result, I got the Mavs in 6. If Kawhi comes back, maybe. But for now, Mavs in 6. T-Wolves and Suns. This one is tough, man, because Denver's so lucky because I wanted it to be stacked. I wanted Denver to have to go through the T-Wolves and the Suns. But now one of those two are going to beat each other, man. Ooh. Because I felt like if Denver had to go through those two, they probably wouldn't make the finals. That's what I was hoping for. Because Nuggets fans are getting cocky. I ain't going to front with y'all. I'm kind of a hater in that sense. But the T-Wolves and the Suns, I got the Suns winning in 7, y'all. Only because of their experience. Only because if you watch the games in the regular season, their shot making, their scoring, the T-Wolves couldn't keep up with that. Even though the T-Wolves have really good team defense, there's just too many shot makers in this. And that was make the Suns so tough. The Suns just have too many good shot makers, guys who can go ballistic at any time. So even though they don't have a point guard, which I think will cost them in big games, especially if they move on and play somebody like the Nuggets. But I think they're gonna beat the T-Wolves, man. And I don't know how to feel about this one because I love Ant-Man. That's my guy. Like I said, he's the next Jordan in my eyes. And I love their defense, but I don't know if they have enough defense to hold down KD, Book, and Bradley Beal. My goodness. Because those boys can all get buckets. So it's hard to play team defense when you have so many bucket getters. So I think the Suns are going to get them in 7. But T-Wolves' defense is legit. And if Ant-Man takes the next Jordan Kobe step, we'll see. That's the stuff that I love about the playoffs, man, because dudes have their coming out parties. You're like, yeah, this guy, this is where it's at right here. Like as great as the Joker was, in the regular seasons a few years back when he won his first MVPs or whatever, it wasn't until this last playoff performance where we were like, oh yeah, Joker is like that. Ant-Man, this is your turn to be like that. But like I said, if KD doesn't win this year, then this might be it for him winning a championship too. So this one's going to be a fun series, I think. But I got the Suns in 7. Nuggets, Lakers. People are making a big deal about the Nuggets, Lakers, saying the Lakers are ready for the challenge. They're going to do this and that. No, they're not. This is lightweight, man. This is lightweight. It's like a 5-pound weight for the Denver Nuggets. For Braun's sake, it's like a 25-pound weight, all right? They're curling, the Nuggets are curling 25 pounds. Like, this ain't like big boy bodybuilding weight. People trying to make it seem like the Lakers are going to, nah, man. And the starters, the Lakers don't match up at all across the board. They might have one advantage in their starting lineup. So the Nuggets are likely to sweep this, or a gentleman's sweep, right? Out of respect for Braun, the Lakers might get one. But the Nuggets are going to make quick work of the Lakers. So save me all your hot takes about the Lakers and this and that. If the Lakers win, then this proves Braun is – they're not going to win, so forget about it. Forget about it, all right? The Nuggets are going to win. They're going to make quick work of it. They have a weak bench, but I don't think the Lakers are good enough to expose it. The Nuggets have a weak bench. I don't think the Lakers are going to expose it, though. Can the Lakers wear out Joker because of that weak bench? Maybe. Can they have him running and tire him out? Maybe, but I don't know if they can. That's the thing, man. Like, it's not that the Nuggets are invincible. It's that the Lakers aren't a good team. So as good as LeBron is still, he's still old and he's not the two-way player he once was. And AD shrinks in the presence of the Joker. So what do? Will AD show up? If AD shows up, listen, if AD shows up, then my prediction's out the window. But AD's probably not going to show up. He's probably going to get dominated by the Joker. And the Nuggets are going to win this thing in 4, maybe 5 games to be nice to Braun. And everyone's going to go back to saying, oh, the Nuggets are invincible. And really, no, the Lakers just aren't that good. They're just not. Sorry, Lakers fan. But the Lakers are going to have some soul searching after the season because this team is not a championship caliber team, like I said before. This is going to be quick work for the Nuggets. They're going to be in and out. Move on to the next. That's a professional team. The Nuggets are a professional team. You ain't got to worry about them taking nobody lightly. Like, they're going to come in, handle the business. Joker's going to get his numbers and walk right out. And it's a wrap. And it's a wrap. But I can't wait, y'all. It's going to be fun. Buckle up. Big boy basketball is here. No flopping. No weak foul calls. This is when the men are made. The true hoopers come out. Put your kids to bed. Let's get ready for some big-time basketball, y'all. NBA playoffs, 23-24. Let's get it. True basketball fans, like, this is what we wait for right here, man. We wait like 5 months just for the next 2 months. It'll be good. It'll be good. Staying up late. You know you got to go to work the next day, but you're staying up late watching the West Coast games. It's going to be crazy. You're going to be hurting the next day, but it might be worth it to stay up and watch a couple of those late night games, y'all. All right. That's it, man. Appreciate y'all hanging out again. Sports and the real shit. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Let me know what's on your mind. I'm going to catch you guys next time. Mike. Peace.
I'm going straight to the top. Just put the stack on the clock. I am Ray Allen's a shot. I'm going straight to the top.